Hello, this is Derek. It's just showing you my cycle cart that I made a couple of years ago. It's just about finished now, although these things are never finished. They always need something doing to it. It's built to a thing called the Stephenson's formula. They race them in the United States. They're not really big in the UK. It has to be under a certain weight, under a certain length. And they generally use a Honda GX160 engine. They build them with what you've got about you. They're not they don't go overboard spending money on them. So you kind of build them, and it's harking back to the 1920s when people built cars with what they had about them. Because of course cars weren't that popular, there weren't that many about. So you had motorcycles, and then they would modify them and make them into cars. And it's built loosely on the style of a Morgan, but it's not a Morgan, it's just loosely built like a Morgan. And I've called it No Limit, which is kind of a nod to George Formby. It's a three-wheel, it's a trike, a cycle trike, and it's the only cycle trike that I've seen. I've not seen anybody else build a cycle trike. Cycle cars, four-wheelers, but not cycle trikes. The main body tub is plywood, and the bonnet is sheet metal. The hood is fiberglass. The whole thing is custom made. There's nothing on this that you can buy off the shelf, nothing standard about it. The only standard parts is possibly the engine parts. A lot of the engine parts are standard, but everything else is special. The main chassis was a piece of scaffolding tube, which was heavily modified and machined, as is the front axle. It's a piece of scaffolding tube. The kingpins and all the steering is all from mobility scooter. The wheels, the hubs are off a James motorcycle with new rims and spokes. It's got a self-starter. I fitted a Kawasaki starter motor, my own kind of design for starting it. Steering wheel is off a tractor. See if I can lift the bonnet up. Petrol tank is under the front. You can see pedals, steering column. No radiator. It looks like it's got a radiator, but it's just a dummy radiator. Make it look like it's got a radiator. That's the gear change. It's Villiers 4-speed gearbox, sequential change. It's quite fast. It's quite scary. It's too fast for what it is. Geared for about 50 miles an hour. But you don't want to be doing 50 miles an hour in this. It's very, very twitchy with those skinny wheels. It used to have suspension. I built it with suspension so it would rotate around the front axle, but it was too wobbly, so I've made it solid, so there's no suspension on it at all now. It's got a stealth starter. This is the ignition switch. Switch it on. This lever here, you push it down, it tightens the belt up under the engine, push the button at the end and it should start. Take the bonnet off. There's this bungee at this side. Bungee. Bolt at the back. And the fiberglass hood just lifts off like that. So you've got your Honda GX160 engine. It's got slide carburettor. Get a slide carburettor on instead of this ordinary carburettor. It's got a pulse pump. There is the 4-speed gearbox is underneath the engine. It's all built on a space frame. Honda 305 rear wheel. This is the starting mechanism. We've got a belt start Kawasaki starter motor. So you push the lever down, tightens the belt up, push the button. It's quite quick, it's quite fast, it's geared for about 50 miles an hour, but you don't want to be doing 50 miles an hour in this. So there you are, if anybody's interested in buying it, it comes with a trailer as well. There's a trailer. It's got a winch on at the front there, so you can winch it on the back of the trailer, rearwards. Then strap it down. You can do that easily one-handed. One person can easily do that. So it comes with a trailer as well. I've had it to a couple of shows. Draws a lot of people looking at it. Completely unique, one of. If anybody's interested, give me a call.